It's time to make a fascinator. Yes, a big one. I'm going to show you how to do it. There are 5 steps, and also little ones to put in our junk journals. Same concept, same theory of doing things. I had a tea party for our daughter's 40th birthday, and I invited the ladies to make their own fascinators. Now, it's a hard frame. I covered with felt using Fabri-Tac, and I cut out the different felt colors. Everybody could choose whatever color they liked, and there's a clip that goes on the bottom, and they attached it to their hair. You're going to see a photo later on in this video of the table of ladies, but the same concepts are true for making a little fascinator for our journals, whether it's on a paperclip or whether it's on a silhouette of a Jane Austen style lady. This is a felt. I just cut it out like a heart and cut those little openings so that I could fit the hair clip through, and then again glued it on with the Fabri-Tac. Worked great, no problem at all. Have you ever worn a hat? Yeah, I don't even put up my hair in a ponytail because I can't stand something pulling on it. So the weight of a hat probably would be too much for me. But I made that first little fascinator thing, and it wasn't too heavy. It worked out great. So you have to gather your fascinator hat items. Now remember, we're going to make miniature ones too in a little bit. You can scroll. I think I put in the chapter headings, so if you want to see how to do that with a little one right away, go ahead. But here's where I started, and I had these instructions up on the wall for the ladies, and then I invited them to choose the tool. That's the netting fabric, and I suggested they choose more than one color, and because it creates a depth and a uniqueness. There's our daughter Sarah and the little fascinator hat she made. It wasn't so little. And she added all kinds of things onto her hat. I suppose it's actually called a headpiece, not a traditional hat. I also wrote a blog post about, just a little bit of a reflection on using the fascinator headpiece as an example for carrying things along with us that might not fit us anymore. And that's at my blog, positivethanksliving.com, and you can also get the Friday freebie from there. So the ladies, they made their bases. They then added tulle and other things with hot glue, and they carried on making things. Now, fascinators have an interesting history. Way back, the origins are about the 18th or 19th century, and fascinators, like Jane Austen wore, were basically light, lacy head coverings. And they were often knitted or crocheted, and then in the early Victorian era, the early fascinators were more like delicate scarves or shawls, and they draped them over their head, and it wasn't really a structured hat. It wasn't until the 20th century, that the Edwardian period, where it had huge dominance, hats in everything. There's a picture of Pride and Prejudice, the British version, with the ladies wearing their fascinator hats. It's really cool. If you're enjoying this, I'd truly appreciate it if you subscribed. I'd love to spend more time with you, and hit the little like icon. That helps the channel very much, and maybe shows other people some of the video, so that if they want to get the freebies, the digitals, they can also. So down below in the description, there's a link to the freebies, the different things you're going to see in the second half of this video. Now you add, after the ribbons, you can add embellishments. Oh, the ladies had fun with feathers. Do you ever put feathers in your junk journals? I have to admit, this is my first time putting feathers, and I attached it to a hidden paperclip. We're going to make that in the next segment of the video here. How are you doing? Are you okay? I hope you are. I hope you're well. It's been an interesting time period for me. It's kind of reflecting on grown children. Grown children are awesome. I appreciate them very much. But it's also a sense of time passing. So I did a little reflecting in my writing this week. Now, I have all these embellishments, and they're just as relevant for the large fascinator as they are for our small ones that can go in our junk journals. I used digital tools to be able to create my own silhouettes because I couldn't find what I wanted anywhere else. So that's why you're getting some freebies too. And I have to say, I've been having fun just designing digitals. Now here's the ladies. I put little bows over their faces so they aren't recognizable, but you can see they're fascinators. So this is a mini fascinator. And I'm attaching one to this hidden paperclip just like this. And there's silhouettes and, yeah, the actual fascinator. Again, out of felt, but on the base of a hidden paperclip. Just cut the felt into a little teardrop shape, and I can use these embellishments on the mini fascinator. It pokes up above the top of the journal and adds layers. I'm still working on layers. I made this hidden fascinator. These are the digitals that are available for you. The link is below in the description of this video. Just click the little more if you're trying to find the link. So I made the hidden paperclip using we're going to put it on that silhouette too, using Polooza's directions on how to put it together. And there's a link below to her directions. You'll see me making it here, but she shows it so well. All right, let's make it. See, there's a picture of Jane Austen, and she just has this lace head covering. I guess it wasn't until much later that the fascinators, the headpieces, they became more of a statement piece. Now you can use the silhouettes that are in a frame on their own, or you can attach them to a page, or you can tuck them in like a little guest idea. I thought it would be fun to give these ladies, all four of them, names. So I invite you to leave a comment below and tell me what you would name them. There's 4 of them, and they're 4 silhouettes that are slightly different in 4 different frames with little nameplates. And I'm going to name them. I'll show you next week. Oh, and I have something special for next week too. I'm releasing my videos now on Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to try and have a freebie as often as I can, whatever strikes my fancy. At the end of this video, you'll see what I'm working on for next week. So that's exactly how I made it. I just hand cut out a little teardrop shape, like the large one. And then we go from there using the same premise of first choosing our base, the base color, whatever color you want included in your journal. And then the next step is to add some tulle. Yeah, the items that you put on, do it in odd numbers, 3, 5, 7. just make sure that it can handle the weight of the items that you're putting on. It's no different than something you'd put in your hair. If it's too heavy, it won't stick on the page, like with the paperclip won't be able to handle it. So I stuck with pretty light items and using Fabri-Tac to attach them. We gathered some tulle. 3 colors. I have a blue, purple, and I think, like a dark blue, purple, teal, purple, and a dark blue. And I'm just cutting them in small strips. And I'm going to use them for the 2 different mini fascinators. Scrunch them all together. Create a dimensional experience on the little piece of felt. And I used a clip that I just had around to hold it down while the Fabri-Tac dried. If you used hot glue, it would dry, it would stick much more quickly. But I rarely use hot glue, even though now I have 3 little glue guns from our tea party. I'm holding it. I've got a silicone spatula, and no, it doesn't dry right away, so finding a clip is important. I've been having such fun with this little embellishment idea. It has created a extra layer in my journal. I've been working on layers, trying to increase the number of layers in the no-sew journal that I am making. You can see the other videos in the past weeks. And the journal has a tea, and it will have teas and books, different aspects of it. This one obviously is inspired by our daughter Sarah's party. It occupied my brain for weeks before the event, and so I'm just still using up what I have. I have contemplated maybe making up some kits with all the items that you see me using here and putting it available on Etsy if anybody wanted to make their own little fascinator paper clips. So let me know in the comments below if you are interested in that, and I can make you up a kit. Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. As you can see, I have a tray full of stuff to use, not counting all the ribbon. I didn't even show you some of the ribbon or some of the little florals that I have. I guess I showed you a picture at the beginning of the tray of florals, but that was just some of them. Yeah. So here's a small one that's suitable for a small fascinator. Clip it off. It's soft plastic, and it can go on there just like so. A little more Fabri-Tac, and it'll dry. I start working on the other fascinator while this one dried, and it worked out well. So, what are you engaged in right now? What are you making in your craft room? Are you involved in a journal, or are you making just the pieces for the journal, like pockets and tags and things like that? I have to say, I probably don't mass make a lot of things personally. I don't know, maybe my attention span is too short to mass make something. I make 1 or 2 or 3 of something, and then I move on to something else. So, but I can imagine having a bunch of these paper clips would be useful. These hidden paper clips are so easy to make, and Polooza, she does a tutorial where she's creating a bunch of the bases so that whenever she needs a hidden paper clip for whatever she's making, she pulls them out and then can decorate them for whatever specific she needs them for. Now this is to add some ribbon. And instead of ribbon, I'm going to use some of these lovely, they're yarn, specialty yarns from Anne at Odulcina on her shop. I had sent away for a pink set and a blue set, and you can see they're rolled up so nicely on a wooden peg. So I'm just taking one part of the string to showcase on one of the fascinators, and I loop it up together. I like the one there that has like a little flag, delicate flags. No, they're not a flag, they're just little bits, and I roll it up and I use the Fabri-Tac just to attach it. Having these laces and layers and string or yarn or fancy things around is really gets your imagination going. But I have to say, I need a new way of storing everything. My great big banker's boxes, yes, they work, but now I'd like to have a more detailed storage option. So my husband's going to put up a shelf for me in my craft room, and I'm going to look for storage solutions for these little special bits that will work for me, both visually and structurally, organizationally. I'll do a video once I've finally figured it out. It'll probably take a month or so to work on that. I'm having such fun in my craft room. It's such a blessing. I didn't always have a space dedicated to crafting. Now I do. Every season is different, isn't it? Life ebbs and flows. Sometimes you are blessed with the things that your heart desires, and sometimes you have to wait a bit. Yeah. I've done some waiting, and I'm very thankful right now to have my heart's desire of a craft room available. Are you in a craft room, like a room to yourself, or do you craft on a table in the kitchen or dining area? Leave a comment below and let me know. I'd love to know where you craft. Have you solved the idea of having a storage for small bits that are special? That would be interesting to find out. I'll be doing some research on the time. Now these are little pearls. I think they're meant for cards, and they're sticky, but they're perfect to put on the tool. So first a set that's on the felt. They stick by themselves. And then one more. They are on a sticky strip, and you can see the clear tape that holds the strip. There we go. Oh, more. Maybe not. I want to have the embellishments both be interesting but still light enough, and I want them to have dimension without getting in the way. So this one here that I'm making right now, I'm going to put on the silhouette of the lady that is like a journaling card. And it works so perfectly. You're going to see as I put it inside the little vellum folder and then tuck it behind a tuck that I designed on the digital paper that has a set of 4 other silhouettes. Now, what can I add? Of course, it needs a feather. Now the pink feathers, I just used Distress ink spray, pink, and I dyed the feathers pink because they were all white. This is a peacock feather that somebody brought along. But it's a little big for what I want to use right now, so I choose not to add it. There's one feather, and if one feather is good, then we have to have another, right? See how I'm just tucking it into the back? That works well. More feathers. Again, if you're interested in having a kit of all these little bits and pieces to mail to you, leave a comment below. I'd be happy to send something along to you. I'm going to make some for my crafting buddies. We have begun a group in the city that's close to me, and so we meet twice a month to craft in person. That's where the little bead chain, the bead string came from. One of the ladies in the group, she so generously donated some of the beads for Sarah's birthday Fascinator party making thing. Now these are some stickers. I originally bought them for my granddaughter. She likes bling. She loves things that are shiny. But they're tiny enough and they have their own stickiness. They fit beautifully onto the tool also. There we go. We've got some feathers that add texture and some bling that add something interesting, and we've got some pearl strings. Now let's put them on the two items. One is the paperclip, the hidden paperclip, and I just tore the paper and I'm sandwiching it between the piece of paper. And again, Polooza, link is below. Just click the more in the description and you can see how she makes, because I learned how from her. And I'm adding a little bit of, that was a vintage photo, and I want to add a little more pink now because it's a little too brown. Just some of the spun sugar oxide ink. That's something that Anne at Odulcina, she does the inking of things, and she crumples things up and makes them dimensional. The side tuck that I have in the journal that I'll show you later with the silhouette, I distressed the paper. I literally crumbled it in my fingers, my hands, to create creases, and then I inked the creases. And because I've been watching Anne's video about how to distress paper, that's how she creates dimension in her items. So that's still something I'm learning, creating layers. So this video starts a new playlist. I'm also putting it in the previous one of luscious layers, because this is a layer. But this video begins a new playlist, and it's about making tea and books. So what I'm going to work on next week, and there's another freebie for next week too. I'll call it Friday freebie maybe. It has, well, you'll see at the end. I don't want to spoil the surprise, but oh, it's been fun. So it'll start a new playlist of ideas for our junk journals that incorporate all the little bits and pieces, whimsical concepts and historical concepts, and things that have to do with tea and things that have to do with books, because those are two things that I really like. So let's add a big feather. Well, not that big. I'm going to cut it off. So with everything, you can trim things down to fit whatever you need them for, or at least often you can trim them down. The blog post that's on my site, and when you click the link, it'll take you to the blog post and go all the way down to the bottom, and that's where you can click to get the free digitals. So the blog post really talks about how sometimes things don't fit anymore in life. It's kind of like you have to trim. You have to take a few things off. Yeah. Just like that feather. The whole thing would not have fit. Here we go. Yep, see, there's that distressed side pocket that I made in Anne's style. So let's put this on the page. And wow, does that add a layer. Fortunately, the cover of this journal is quite a bit larger than the text block. So it's going to work no problem with that amount of poofiness at the top. There's that back tuck. Now I'm going to do the other silhouette, the larger one that's a journal card, and add the fascinator to that. And you'll see how it works so well, because I can put it to the right of her head. It'll tuck into the vellum folder. Now I've done vintage photo distress ink on this paper. I just wanted to age it, or appeared to age it. I can put it to the left and glue it on. Yep, there's 4 ladies there, as though they were the guests to the tea party. I'll show you them finished next week, each with their own fascinator hat, so you can get an idea before I show you what I'm doing next week. These are our ladies that came to a tea party. I'm imagining. Now, which direction do I want to put it? Yep, I like those little pearl strings going over top of the layer of vellum. I'd love it if you'd just hit the like button. That helps the video be shown to other people. And it really helps me too. Thank you very much for watching. Let's put that tulle and felt down. And it's not too heavy. It works beautifully just on that piece of paper. And it's copy paper. Now it's a heavier copy paper. It's not light, but it's not cardstock. It's my favorite. It's Hammond. I'll link below also in the description to that paper, because it is my favorite. It holds tea dye really well. It doesn't tear. See, that's the page that I just tore the edge off with and then inked it with vintage photo. And I'm going to make it into a tuck. And the vellum will, with the silhouette journal card, will be tucked just behind there. Here we go, right up to the edge where the lace from the opposite side is. See? Yep, that's teacups from the tea party, an actual photo. That was last week's video. And you can get this freebie. The link is in the description. Use the paper as I did. I just tore off the edges of the paper, or use it as a journal card, or whatever you like. And let's put this in here. I want the nameplate. I have to decide on names for these 4 ladies. Any suggestions? Should I name one of them Jane, maybe? Oh, the Bronte sisters. I have to look up what their names were. Can you imagine a tea party with all those writers that we enjoyed their books? What are their names? Rob's grandmother, her name was Euphemia. Yeah, try and spell that one. One of them is going to be named Euphemia. just because I like the name, but I'd never want a grandchild named Euphemia. Her husband called her Effie. So, thanks for joining me. I've loved having you here. This video is a little longer than some of the others that I make, but we did a lot in it. Big fascinator headpieces and tiny ones to fit in our journal. See, that's where I distressed all the paper. And it's a heavy enough paper, this Hammond paper, that distresses well. It doesn't tear, it doesn't, it's sturdy enough, and yet it goes through my printer so easily. One of the ladies will go there. I have to find 4 places. Give her Anne, picture of Jane Austen. Maybe one is Jane and one is Euphemia. One is Emily. I don't know. What are your ideas for 4 names? Leave a comment below. I would be tickled to use one of your names. That would be great. And we have the hidden paperclip and we have the journaling card, both with a fascinator. All the bits and pieces. Now next week, I've already been creating more digitals, so there'll be another freebie, and it has to do with books and tea parties. And we'll add some of these little embellishments on. And I'm going to use some of the paper that I dyed with tea dye and Easter egg dye and stencils for what I work on next week. I invite you back next week, June 20th at 4 p.m. I'll have a video for you and the freebies of what I'll be working on next. But if you want these, the link is below. And here's what I'm working on next week. It's fairies with tea and book. Yep, you see all the ones I've been fussy cutting? It is fun. They're so cute. Thanks for watching. It's Lori at Positive Thanks Living. See you next week. Bye for now.